What up? It's your boy K-Blao Hood X. That's you trying to hoodx.com. I'm doing this video. I was actually planning on doing this video live because YouTube is shut down. I'm actually pissed off right now. YouTube had actually shut down my live, and they said that it was supposed to be restored back on today. And of course, when I go to go live, it wouldn't let me go live. So this video is supposed to be live, but of course it's not. I'm using the system to record, and I have no idea to even know, the outcome. So I'm hoping that this shit comes out good because I really hope I don't have to do this shit again. But a lot of the videos, like I was doing the Sagittarius video, I sit down and start talking, and then something happens in the video, I fucked up one way or another. So I'm hoping that this one is done first take. So make sure you sign up for hoodx.com. You click the link in the bottom link to subscribe to my channel. This video obviously is called Why I Hate Scorpios. Now, if you are a Scorpio and you're new to my channel, just know that I've done this for all of the signs. And before you run off thinking that Scorpio broke my heart or somebody Scorpio treated me wrong or some shit like that, just know that that is not the case. First of all, I'm going through the entire zodiac. I do personally know Scorpios. I've studied their behavior. I have nothing personal against Scorpios. I am not racist or, what I'm saying, I'm not discriminating against Scorpios. This is just one for entertainment. For two, it's just a collection of the things that I observed, the notes that I've been writing down. And I've been doing this for about 4 or 5 years now. I've been studying astrology for over 10, 15 years now. And I just recently started putting these videos up about 4 or 5 years ago. So this is a Scorpio video for the people who've never found my channel. All right, so I do know Scorpios want to talk shit just from even making this fucking video. So that's what I'm trying to put up out front, that this is not nothing personal. I do not have anything personal about Scorpios. All right, and if these traits don't apply to you, then let it fly. All right, and do not take this shit personal. If you do take it personal, you probably know me saying all this shit is a total fucking waste of time anyway. But if you are a fucking Scorpio, do not take this shit personal. All right. So, why I hate Scorpio? I also want to say this video is brought to you by 1800 Tequila Coconuts. We'll be having a drink with you. So, and at some point I might be taking a break in this video just to check it and make sure everything works. And again, I might not. So, I'm hoping that everything is working right. All right. Scorpios are said to be destructive. They're ruled by Mars and Pluto. So this is kind of like in Vietnam, they had this thing called the Tet Offensive, which is the art of war. It's kind of the same thing. It's like attack and then hide. It's like run. It's like not traditional. This is why Vietnam won the war, was because these are people that like to run, attack, and then hide type shit, and like hide in the shadows and hide in the bushes and hide in the darkness, and then pop out and attack. Mars and Pluto together. So it's not a traditional enemy, and that they're gonna attack you in ways and then hide. So like, don't expect, or do some sneaky shit. So don't expect to know the whole truth of how they attack you. You know what I'm saying? That leads to all type of manipulations like that. You remember like a good way to think of Scorpios, like, this is kind of like all women, but you know what I'm saying? But especially Scorpios. And then, like, I don't know if you used to watch the TV show Family Matters, but there's a character named Laura, who Steve Urkel was like crazy about. It was the main girl. So he was chasing her almost every episode. And this went on for years and years. And then one time, at one point, he gave up and he ended up getting with another girl. I think it was Mara or something like that. I think she ended up dying in real life, the actress who played her. You know what I'm saying? Laura got jealous, even though she didn't even want Urkel. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that he was showing the attention to Mara, he got with her, like, she was extremely jealous of this. And like, this is kind of like Scorpio in that, like, they kind of want what they want what they can't have. You know what I'm saying? And then like they can pretty much, it's like desire. You know what I'm saying? Desire and the urge not to desire. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? This is literally what plays with Scorpios a lot. He said like, okay, you say you don't want something, and then you see somebody else with it, and all of a sudden you want it type shit. And they're like, these are the urges that pull at Scorpio all the time. They're like, they're controlled by shit like this. And they you know, because their emotions and like feel the urge of feeling like they're getting left behind or people not paying no attention, shit like that shit costs them. You know what I'm saying? Um, they will use their friends, their family, and their spouse. You feel what I'm saying? They kind of naturally use everybody, but not use everybody in the sense of like Capricorn, like use people do they will, but they kind of use people uh, in a way that they just feel that they smarter and like better than everybody. So like they they the reason that a lot of times Scorpio feel like they relate to you so good is because it's like almost forced, in that like they are not necessarily relating to you. They're just kind of using the situation. You know what I'm saying? And that they are not. You know, there's a TV show called Death Note. If you watch that shit, there's a character on there named Light. You know what I'm saying? He all his everybody in his family he used, but it was hard to see it on the surface. And then like he seemed very caring and stuff like that, but he was really just using all of them to advance his own goals of you know what I'm saying, using this Death Note. You know what I'm saying? What basically what Death Note was like if you wrote somebody's name down in this book. Actually, I got the Death Note here. This is the Death Note. You know what I'm saying? I highly suggest if you haven't seen this and you are a Scorpio, I highly suggest you go watch this. You know what I'm saying? It basically says if you write somebody's name down, then they die within 40 seconds. You know what I'm saying? And the main character that used this, his name was Light Yagami. You know what I'm saying? And to me, he was like the definition of a Scorpio. And then like all his traits, he was highly manipulative. You know what I'm saying? He was using everybody around him, you know what I'm saying, to basically advance he was killing all these criminals like around the world. Like to him, he saw himself as a god. And that he was killing criminals and you know what I'm saying, but the police they just saw him as a murderer. You know what I'm saying? So they were trying to figure out who he was, but it was trying hard to figure out who he was because you can't figure out who it is. Somebody just writing the name down and picturing them in their head, and they died. So like nobody knew who this guy was, and he became like worldwide known. Like killer, he literally was trying to get world domination, like just killing people. Anybody who went against him, he was killing them. And like then nobody, it was only certain people who knew who he was. You know what I'm saying? And like, but basically like. If you didn't know that it was him, he was basically using you, and you had no idea that he was using you. And like at the same time, these people felt so close to him. You see what I'm saying? And he was very highly manipulative, highly seductive type, you know what I'm saying, guy. And I highly suggest if you're a Scorpio, you haven't seen Death Note, or if you were a Scorpio, I highly suggest you watch Death Note. Yeah. Right, they're non-revealing, and that even the word reveal itself, that is a key word dealing with Scorpio, like reveal or not reveal. You see what I'm saying? And even me saying these things in this video and that like kind of revealing all of these secrets is like it makes them want to get back. And that like even that you can reveal something to a Scorpio and it ain't even nothing necessarily bad, but just they don't even want people to know, and then like they'll get mad at you and stop fucking with you for that type shit. You be like, man, it ain't even a big deal. I just said something about him. You know what I'm saying? And he took this shit so personal, like motherfucker just totally cut me off, and it wasn't even nothing bad. It was just the fact that, oh yeah, he bought a new car last week or something. Or he did some stupid shit, like, or you told somebody, you know what I'm saying, and you come to find out, well, you told a specific person. It's always like, okay, well, you told such specific person specific information that I did not want them to know, and then like everything is in their mind is like literally laid out like that. You know what I'm saying? They would literally find reason to, you see what I'm saying, cut you off just for revealing any type of information for them whatsoever. Um, they will disappear to maintain power. You know what I'm saying? Especially in a relationship, and then you know what I'm saying, they would like call you, or you know what I'm saying, perfectly right after you have sex, you might not hear from them for a week or two, something like that. And all of a sudden they'll call you back and like, hey, hey, hey. You know what I'm saying? They do shit like that just to maintain power balance. Um, there's a concept that Scorpion is supposed to turn into evil. You know what I'm saying? Their sign is really a scorpion, but then they transform into an eagle. But then that eagle really is supposed to transform into a phoenix. So there's like basically 3 phases of Scorpio. You know what I'm saying? So depending on what cycle you let this Scorpio in your life is gonna kind of determine their personality. You know what I'm saying? So you really gotta understand when you're looking at them. It's just a lower Scorpion, a middle grade Scorpion, like a higher. So it's kind of like when you put gasoline in your car. You got 87, 89, and 93. You know what I'm saying? So like just as many Scorpios who come in here and say a lot of these traits aren't true, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be implied on their perspective of where they at in level of being Scorpio. You know what I'm saying? Also, you know what I'm saying? It's very important too. The moon sign of a Scorpio is very important. You know what I'm saying? Because that has a huge impact on their personality. You know what I'm saying? Almost more than any other planets in it is their moon sign is definitely good. Also, Pluto, where their Pluto obviously is too, that's really nice. But their moon sign does have a big impact on Scorpio. A lot of Scorpios like to approach motherfucker like, man, you don't even know. Like, that be the whole shit. I mean, you don't even know anything about me. So I'm saying, everything I've been through in my whole life and all this stuff that I know, man, I'm a god. I'm really the best person. Man. Like, this is how it is. Like, people don't have no idea that I'm really this good like that. So it's like, this is their approach toward every thought. You know what I'm saying? They tell you don't play with their emotions. Like it's like it's a life and death situation. If you play with their emotions, but they definitely will play with yours. You see what I'm saying? And that certain sign like me, who's not really too, you don't really fringe on emotion. You see what I'm saying? It's hard for a Scorpio a lot of times to really uh, not see that as me being as manipulative. And that like a lot of Scorpios who don't understand me as a person, I am a person, how I react to a lot of things, they think that I'm manipulating them by not responding emotionally. Because like a lot of Scorpios do, they like people to respond with high intense emotions. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times I don't do that shit. You see what I'm saying? And they fuck their head up. Like they don't like that shit. Like they personally don't even like me because I'm not responding or like laughing at their jokes as hard as the other people that they met. Or like I'm not necessarily as improved. You know what I'm saying about Scorpio comedy, funny stuff like that. You know, they constantly comedy come on deadpan. Like that shit is hard for Scorpios to digest. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times around with me, it make it more comfortable. I see that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because they be trying to fuck with my emotions, but you know what I'm saying? A lot of times I'll be going, you know what I'm saying? But I will fuck with theirs, and I see that they hate that shit. Cause I know a lot of shit about Scorpio that, like, a lot of times I even approach people and I ask them, man, what's your sign? You know, they be like, why you want to know that? Instead of like, man, you a Scorpio. They be like, no. I'm like, I can totally see what they is, you know what I'm saying? Because Scorpios are the first people to always either question me why I want to know. Like, man, I ain't telling you that shit, and I'll be like, oh, okay, you're a Scorpio. You know what I'm saying? 9 times out of 10, that should be right. Very territorial, especially in their relationships and shit like that. You see what I'm saying? They don't want nobody talking to their spouse, being in their house, wearing their shoes, driving their car. But they will ask you all of these things, you know. A lot of people do have a very chip on their shoulder that something happens to them in the past and they don't want to let go. And even if they didn't got revenge, they still, it's like mortal enemy. Yeah, that's yeah, the mind. Like if you ever seen in Finding Nemo, these pelicans are trying to eat the fish, and these pelicans always say, mind. This kind of Scorpio subconsciously you thinking, you know, so that is mind, all the time. That's like me. You know, a lot of Scorpios looking out for themselves a lot of times. 50 Shades of Grey, if you ever seen this movie, this is definitely Scorpio energy. Dark sex, freaky, kinky shit. You know, everybody kind of knows this about Scorpio. All right, they have Mars. You know, they're ruled by Mars. So this is high energy, um, high aggression. A lot of times if you start play fighting with them, they will take it too far, kind of hurt you and shit. And, you know what I'm saying? It is a lot of emotion in that. I'm saying not, traditional emotion like water people emotion, but like emotional passion and aggression. You know what I'm saying? It is emotion in that they're a water sign, but it's a different type of emotion. It's not emotion like Pisces and Cancer. It's more driven emotion, like driven emotion. Um, they are like a bad lie detector test that will just not shut off. And that like everything is like, are you lying to me? You know what I'm saying? Even like dumb shit that like they approach it like that, even though like they don't necessarily come out and ask every question like, man, are you lying to me? But like this is in the back in their process, the way the process work has a built-in fucking like lie detector test toward fucking every thought though. You see what I'm saying? So it's hard for them to shut that shit off in that they don't trust nothing, and they everything has to be proven. You know what I'm saying? And even if it's right, it's still even like you prove it. You know what I'm saying? It's still even proving it don't necessarily mean that they're still going to take in what you're saying because it still has to just fit into their understanding of what proof is. You know what I'm saying, or what understanding is, and it has to fit into their world. When you follow my channel, you know what I'm saying? One of the first things I say on a lot of my videos, hey man, what's up? It's your boy K-Blao for that channel for that. I say this passage. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, a lot of times I try to get to the point of the content. And then, like, myself, who I am, K-Blao, you know what I'm saying? I am kind of a byproduct of every one of my videos. And then, like, the information comes first and who I am kind of comes second. You see what I'm saying? A lot of the times when you're dealing with Scorpios, you know what I'm saying? You see that, like, the information and within them, like, it's like them first and then information second. You see what I'm saying? And then, like, look at me. Like, you know, like you don't even see that energy on my channel. And like you see this a lot of times. Scorpios, they have this look at me and look at me, look at me. Like if I was like, look at me, I'm K-Blao, the astrologer, and I know this and I know that. And I can like very rarely do you see this energy from how it come through. You see what I'm saying? Like a lot of times I don't necessarily. You very rarely you see me say some shit like that. Like man, you know, I know this and I know that. And, you know, look at me, like look at me, look at me, look at me. You know, my son is a Scorpio. He says all the time, Dad, look at me, look at me, look at me. You know, I I have Uranus in Scorpio. So I wasn't gonna say this. You know what I'm saying? I had a really bad, so I was gonna say this. I have Uranus in Scorpio. Now mind you, I'm an Aquarius. You know what I'm saying? Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. You see what I'm saying? So I have a very, you see what I'm saying, uh, keen awareness of Scorpio energy, especially the way that I perceive Aquarian energy. Like even like me as Aquarius, I look at myself through Scorpio eyes, which is like a third eye. I'm looking at myself as a Scorpio. So like I can not necessarily take myself so serious. You know what I'm saying? And then like I take my studying serious. I take a lot of things that I do serious, like my patterns of how I run shit. Take that shit very serious. Like when I'm in the spotlight, like when I'm dealing with unpredictable energy, like what I'm gonna say next, saying a video like this, I kind of approach it more so like a Scorpio. You see what I'm saying? So I'm looking at myself in as I'm making this video. You see what I'm saying? Thinking like, okay, you know, don't don't necessarily be the same person I was when I was, you know what I'm saying, putting all of this shit together. Like, you know what I'm saying? Look at all these pages. You know what I'm saying? Now, you picture me sitting and writing all this shit. This is very serious. You see what I'm saying? Right now, you know what I'm saying? For weeks on end. So I'm saying, but at the same time, when I get up in front of the camera, you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, you're going to see a little bit more Scorpio energy in the shit. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm not up here like, man, look at me. I know this and I know that. And you know what I'm saying? And I know that if I necessarily wasn't Aquarius and I had the Uranus energy, I could kind of see myself like that. In that, like, okay, well, you know, I'm very confident into knowing it, man. Like, can't nobody fuck with me with this information. You know what I'm saying? And as far as the shit that I say, not only the way that I study, but also the way that I say it. You know what I'm saying? And that, like, I am very confident in my interpretations of things. You see what I'm saying? And if I wasn't 100, if I had a Sun in Scorpio, I could totally see myself be like, oh, well, you know, look at me. I know this and I know that. And you don't know this. And you don't even know that I know this. And you don't even know that I know this. Like, I don't necessarily post a lot of my videos like that. You know what I'm saying? And I hate when I see people, you know what I'm saying, approaching their videos like that with that fucking chip on the shit. Even like when I first put out the Pisces video, like I put out my first video was a Pisces video. And then like I had a huge fucking chip on my shoulder in dealing with Pisces. And a lot of the times when I put these videos out, by the time it comes out, I have a chip on my shoulder in regards toward that particular sign. Like, you see what I'm saying? But I'm still not approaching the whole video like that. Like the goal of my videos, believe it or not, as much shit as I talk in these videos, is to try to get people to fucking wake up. You know what I'm saying? And learn. You know what I'm saying? It's not on this shit on here like, man, what the fuck, how dare you fuck with me and do you know who I am and shit like that. Like it's not that type of energy. And a lot of times I see that dealing with Scorpio. You know what I'm saying? Different motivation. Uh, damn. Right. Yes, they are. They have seen the dark side of sex. you talk about raping or coming to the family generally with kids, shit like that. So I'm saying something sexually dark has happened to them usually in their past. You know what I'm saying? Also, you know, so you deal with prostitution or like, you know what I'm saying, late night fucking, aggression and shit like that. 9 times out of 10, they have seen something to fuck them up, which is why they approach sex the way that they do. Uh, some of them see that sexual molestation as it's not a big deal, believe it or not, and that like yes, they do wish that it necessarily didn't happen per se, but like if they come out and say, "Oh man, I've been molested," you're like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry," shit like that. Like they be kind of looking at it like, "Motherfucker, it ain't a big deal," you know. But they will never listen. A lot of times they don't come out and say that shit. Um, and it's you know I say that in that yes, it is a big deal, but as far as they are, a lot of times like this, like intrinsically to them, the fact that they were raped is not necessarily. It has literally like very little effect on their day to day, you know, shit that they go through. Like you know what I'm saying, like this shit being back in their mind, like, man, that shit, like you know what I'm saying, yeah. So what? You know, they kind of just keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? Just you can. Yeah. All right, right. It's very difficult for a Scorpio to have a real outlook on life if you keep secrets. And then, like, a lot of times, Scorpios bottle a lot of shit up, you know what I'm saying? Especially secrets. You know what I'm saying? So, if your life is real and that, like, situations are going to present itself in real life situations, but you trying to keep a script, if you got to, you know what I'm saying, present shit a certain way because you got a secret about it, you know what I'm saying? Life is going to keep throwing you these type of situations over and over again until you learn from this shit. The second chakra is the sacral chakra, which is kind of ruled by Scorpios. Like they sort of ruled right in your genitalia, in the vagina, your penis, literally right in your fucking crotch. So you have to associate the second chakra with that, which is orange, color orange. You know what I'm saying? So, which is kind of this color of desire, which is the key word dealing with Scorpio. So you want to attract the Scorpio to say kind of orange, or you can also, I mean, Scorpio also like black and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And you also think about too, Halloween is in the season of Scorpio, so you want to think like Halloween, like orange and black, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? That type of vibe. You know, a lot of Scorpios are subconsciously attracted to that shit. If you are double Scorpio, if you're like a water and a moon Scorpio, a lot of times they are literally led by the chip on their shoulder that like this is how they approach life. It's by like whatever happened to them in the past, like this is literally their driving force. You know, so they literally hold on to pain and they like want to get revenge on everybody. You know, this is the type, that type of shit where like, you know, where they become activists and shit like that for that type, like if something happened to them, you know, and then they end up becoming like an activist or like they put out a YouTube channel or some shit like that, like totally dealing with that particular issue. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And they never let it go because like a driving force in their life. That's definitely like some Scorpio shit. So like that's the bigger. That's when they get past the little petty revenge and shit like that, where they start to make a real difference. That's like the Phoenix shit. So they both like the Scorpion pension. You know, Sting. You know what I'm saying? Like Surtur or Sting, and then you got like the Phoenix motherfucker who totally rise from ashes and totally resurrect from the dead, which is like it's also true by the Day of Souls, November 1st is that it's like resurrection. You know what I'm saying? Resurrection is something you want to rule horse in Greek, but the real word is the rule is commanded to resurrection. So like literally coming back to life. So like certain situations like Scorpio might get raped or brutalized or you know what I'm saying, hazed or bullied or any that type of shit. Like a lot of times when Scorpios they get past this thing, they get to the big picture, they can really use that driving force as a wake up call for like the masses. You know what I'm saying? But I don't mean like they have to have a really good moon placement or they have to have some type of really good ascendant sign to get past that little sting and that petty shit. You should take a lot of your stuff right there. Very possessive, very dark, obviously jealous but won't show it. But when they do show it, it'll make no sense. Like you'll see, like a Scorpio, right? Like a Scorpio, when they get mad and that emotion finally break through, it's gonna look and sound retarded. It's gonna be like, wait, what? Like, this shit, like, like they gonna start saying shit that was like pinned up in a way, but like they gonna be saying it in a way that they don't even believe that they saying this shit to themselves and they letting it come out of them type shit. Like I've seen this in a way that like I know a couple Scorpio men who just break out into freestyle. Like they'll get mad at me so bad they'll just start freestyle rapping and saying shit subconsciously, kind of like dissing me. Shit, like I've seen shit, it's almost like bipolar in a way. You see what I'm saying? The only difference is don't look bipolar and they're like, dude is kind of really good at freestyle. You understand? But like if the motherfucker sucked at freestyle, I can totally see how like this is just like a total bipolar fucking shit. I'm just a motherfucker don't know who the fuck I am and I get shit. Like when they emotions spill out, it spill out like bad, like every time. Like later on, like if that shit got caught on tape, you know, saying the motherfucker came along later on and saw that shit, they would be totally fucking embarrassed about it. They would like fuck. And then it's like morbid almost, like a morbid reaction toward mixed with like emotion and bitter logic type shit. You know what I'm saying? Kind of Scorpios born the first week of November are subject to be prostitutes and taking money for sex. You know what I'm saying? Like November 1st up to November 7th, like a lot of parts of it, like Scorpios in the aspect of the desire to use sex to get money. Like you see porn stars, a lot of porn stars be born that week. You know what I'm saying? The first week of November. It's not just the money and sex. It's like the ability to power, dominate, and get paid for it. You know what I'm saying? It's like to them, they really using the money as really just a channel that sexual energy. It ain't really about the money. It's like, okay, well, I want to make a business out of sex type shit. You know what I'm saying? And that they really just channeling that fucking energy. They ain't really trying to make money. They're just trying to stabilize that goddamn sexual energy. They freaks. They do like taboo shit, like S&M, leather whips, chain shit like that, tying motherfuckers up, biting. They will use sex as a weapon. Kind of takes a while to really understand what that means. Some Scorpios can have STDs, chlamydia, gonorrhea, herpes. You know what I'm saying? Shit about herpes. A lot of Scorpios will have herpes and won't tell you, and then like the shit like you go get STD checked. Herpes is not. A lot of people don't check for herpes. You know what I'm saying? So if you can go get checked for STDs and have herpes, and they won't report it because they didn't even check you for it. Like you look this shit up, it's fucking crazy. Like people don't even get checked for herpes. You know what I'm saying? Even in the porn industry, motherfuckers got like then like 90% of people in the porn industry got herpes and don't even fucking know the shit. You know what I'm saying? So like a Scorpio will have herpes. You know what I'm saying? And fuck you and won't tell you the shit. And like not even just if they have, you know, if they even Scorpio sun, but like a lot of people who have Scorpio in their chart. You know what I'm saying? Will have an STD and know that shit and still fuck type shit. Like you know what I'm saying? And, you know what I'm saying? Even HIV, AIDS and shit like that. Like these are the type of motherfuckers who do that shit. Like they get so like, cause you know what I'm saying? I guess if you develop an STD and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Some shit, some permanent shit like that. Like if you fucking caught some shit that was fucking done, you know what I'm saying? You gonna have a certain way that eventually you gonna be that shit is gonna fucking weigh on you. You know what I'm saying? If you a Scorpio and you got, you know what I'm saying, they obsessed with their genitals and shit like that, and you know what I'm saying, you get someone from obsessed with sex, that is going to have eventually they're gonna come to a point where they're gonna be like, man, okay, I'm having sex with somebody that's not fucking top. Like you know what I'm saying? This is really in a Scorpio energy. You know what I'm saying? So if you're dating a Scorpio, you definitely want to make sure you check for all of the STDs. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to find out some shit that they didn't check for. They do like to fuck raw. You know what I'm saying? A lot of Scorpios do not like putting condoms on. So I'm saying because they feel like they're suffocating in genitalia. Keyword with Scorpios: consumption, whether it's food, sex, you know, oral sex, consuming you, consuming basically your whole soul, your spirit, your whole essence. You know what I'm saying? Like everything, all of your passion, they want to consume this shit. A lot of times Scorpios just hate their fucking spouse. You know what I'm saying? And they'll blame it on the fact that they have high standards. When it's really not when they have high standards, because like you chose this person. Like 9 times 10, like the Scorpio was the person that was pursuing, but they manipulated the situation to make the other person think that they was pursuing them. You know what I'm saying? Because like certain situations play out in a power dynamic, and they're very good at shifting the power dynamic to make it look like they have more value than their spouse. So in the back of the mind, the spouse would think they was pursuing them the whole time. Like no, like they really pursued you to begin with, and somehow they switched the whole shit around. So I'm saying, so like they'll hate their spouse, not realizing that they was the one that kind of like got it to the point that they at right now. You know what I'm saying? Like 90% of Scorpios fucking hate this spot. And you could be ain't nothing totally wrong with you, but somehow like they don't necessarily hate you. They just be like, man, I wish I never got with this motherfucker. Like a lot of Scorpios constantly approach it, and like they like the security. They need somebody there. So I'm saying to hold their finances situation down, in cars and all that like earth shit. So I'm saying earth traits, car, house, money, bills, jobs, security, shit like that. Like they need, you know what I'm saying, somebody there. But at the same time, like they totally want to run this person over and then take him to the hospital over type shit. Like you know what I'm saying, this is the shit that they be. Like the movie Water Roses. I don't know if you've seen that shit. You might want to see that shit if you're a Scorpio, like or Mr. and Mrs. Smith. They speak the bug language, which is also something I refer to a lot of times with what the fuck is that word? A lot of times I refer to with Cancer as the bug language. What is that word? All right, the Cancer verse, right? So the bug language is like when you hear motherfuckers whispering, it's like, woo, oh man, damn what? Oh man, like just weird noises that don't necessarily words, but say with just sounds coming up out it, which is like emotional sound. You know what people call it the bug language. You know, people sound like bugs. You know what I'm saying? They speak that shit very well. And this is a lot of times too that kind of reacts to reptilian / animal nature in you, and that you know things don't necessarily make sense logically, but just the tone of laughter, the tone of you know just reaction, emotional reactions. You know what I'm saying? That stirs your fucking reptilian animal nature. They are really good at using you know, those type of sounds. A lot of Scorpios can be drunks, you know, and they can drink a lot of liquor and think it's not having an effect on them whatsoever, but they're not aware of how they look drunk, and you see what I'm saying, and the way it smells, the way it just kind of lowers their natural geniuses. You see what I'm saying? That they thinking is enhancing, and when it really it throws their balance off. You know what I'm saying? It ain't necessarily that motherfucker be doing wrong. It's just like you picture a kung fu like they call it shit drunken master. Like drunken master was really a Scorpio, and then like he was drinking liquor, and it kind of made him good. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like you don't want to depend on liquor to make you a better version. So a lot of Scorpios do that, and they have that literal exact mind. That okay, like that they're not just drunks per se. It's like drunken master, and like they use this liquor to enhance their natural work drive, which they really don't know is detrimental. It seems like it's a good idea at the beginning, but then like it always ends up fuck. It's like the underlying real blame to all of the negative shit that they're going through. It's like, and they're not necessarily just drunks, but it's also like medication or like drugs, weed, marijuana, coke, meth, some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? That, like they have real addictive nature. That is really the underlying reason behind all of the drama. You know? A lot of keywords, a lot of times associated with Scorpios is vampires, which is sucking your blood, sucking your energy. We'll talk about a little bit about more of that later. But it's really just more of a draining energy. You know what I'm saying? Which is why you know, I want to suck your blood, like Dracula. You know what I'm saying? And also too, Halloween is in Scorpio season. You know what I'm saying? Another reason like vampires are associated with Scorpio. They can be codependent. They latch on like crabs. So I some of them like Scorpios. And, you know, Scorpios do have pensions, so you know, obviously pension grab on you. They go good with cancers. Also, too, Pisces is all water creatures. You know what I'm saying? The Scorpios can get on land and water. You know, so this is why they're a little. A lot of people say they're more dynamic than the other two water signs. But they can be codependent. They have sort of an attitude of, if I can't have you, then no one have. So they will destroy shit. You know what I'm saying? They will sabotage a lot of shit or even kill their spouse. You know what I'm saying? Just to stop anybody else from having them. It's very childish. Which is another reason why I don't think Scorpios are the best sign. Like some Scorpios have this complex about themselves that they really are the best sign. But when you really look at their traits, you cannot be the best sign and have like this much of a dark trait. And then like a lot of signs do have dark traits, but the Scorpio dark traits just go that so dark that you cannot be considered the greatest sign. The traits is that dark. and and one of them is just that. Is that like they will kill a fucking spouse? You see what I'm saying? They are very prone to that. You know what I'm saying? That is not a trait that you can have if you want to be considered the greatest son. They will keep secrets to destroy you later, and then like they'll pile secrets on secrets and secrets and secrets, and like they be waiting for the day that they just gonna unload all this shit out. Like this is very important. This is more important than keeping files that are like for good days type shit, or like what I call the work days. You know what I'm saying? Like I have in my living room, I have a fucking shelf, glass shelf that when I go to events with my family and stuff like that, like I start putting, like we get a souvenir or something like that. Like there's a place that we put all our souvenirs for the whole year, and at the end of the year, so we box them up, get a real nice, looking expensive like chest. You know what I'm saying? And put all the stuff in there, and we all sign that we put up in the attic. And you know what I'm saying? So every year we have a new, shelf of memories that I'm putting. You know what I'm saying? We storing good memories. Scorpios literally do the total opposite, and like they keep a track of all of the fucked up shit that you're doing. So like one day they can brutality your ass, and like a lot of times when I be talking to Scorpios and I read the stuff that they say, I kind of see that, and like the revenge a lot of the times and the negative sides of the relationship is far more important to them than the positive shit. Like they when they look at a relationship, they always focus more on like the negative aspect. I mean, if you fuck me over, I'm gonna get revenge. Like they don't ever approach it like the opposite. And they're like, man, we gonna do this and I'm gonna like all these good memories together. Like very rarely do I see them approaching it with that frame of mind first. Um, Hypersensitive and defensive to the point is ruthless defensive, and if they totally want to utterly destroy the enemy, they just don't want to embarrass them. Like they just want to be totally ruthless and destroy them. And uh, this is due to like it's a hypersensitivity, which is the more you want to destroy your enemy, the more sensitive you are about the issue. Xerxes from 300, I really associate him with Scorpio a lot. He was the guy that came out with so nice and eloquent in the way he was offering peace, and he kind of mocked him a little. Leonidas kind of mocked him a little bit, and then he just went totally fucking ape shit. You feel what I'm saying? Like this is Scorpio energy, and that like I'll crush you, I'll totally destroy you, like that's Scorpio. Hypersensitive. Go look up the scene from 300 Xerxes when he was talking to Leonidas before the whole war started. You see hypersensitive. Um, right, and this is one thing a lot of Scorpios fail to understand about me. First of all, I do not think that Aquarius is the best sign. I am an Aquarius, and I do not think that Aquarius is the best sign. And I also, when I sit here, the urge for you to sit here and defend everything that what I'm saying, mind you, I'm sitting here talking about negative traits. You start firing my negative traits back, and Aquarius are cold-blooded fucking weirdos, fucking this, that, I'm not gonna defend that shit. And they're like, you're defending negative traits. Stop and think about this. And they're like, stop and think about see me putting a video like this and the urge you sitting there listening to everything I'm saying, and you just having the urge to totally defend all of these negative traits of what I'm saying. And like you're defending negative shit. These are not traits that you should be defending. You know what I'm saying? Whether or not you have them or not. You see what I'm saying? In that you don't want to come up with excuses of why you're doing this type of shit. Like you see what I'm saying? You want to look at it and first of all ask yourself, am I doing it? Not great. You see what I'm saying? But if you are, you know what I'm saying, and you find yourself giving an urge to try to come back at me and tell me about negatives, and you're saying get revenge on me for just putting out a video like this, and sort of like going in the comments and start talking about how Aquarius got these type of charts. And first of all, I totally fucking get it. You know what I'm saying? This is Scorpio nature, but at the same time, just remember, man, you're defending negative shit. You're only defending some negative traits about yourself. So you might want to examine why you're doing it. Very delicate ego. Very keyword. Just write that word down. And talk about delicate ego. You know what I'm saying? And that it's so delicate. Just in hearing that, it vibrates the whole fucking fabric of their soul, and they have very delicate ego. You know, they would hate for you to notice. You know what I'm saying? You look at you're saying Death Note is a really good aspect of that is that they show you know what I'm saying there's a whole conversation of like strategizing behind every thought that a Scorpio has. You know what I'm saying? And then to the point where, you know, when they hear somebody like me on the opposite side of that thought, when they subconsciously has to come to the surface, you see just how delicate it really is. Um, this right, that can make you also mentally deficient. You know, you're never gonna be as good as you can be because it's too defensive. And then like you ever go to the fucking basketball games and they say defense, defense, defense. Well, defense, like they say, cannot win a game, and that um, you have to have offense to win the game. And at the same time, the Scorpios are so defensive. Like they got this is a team with really good defense, but you focus so much on your defense that you don't have no offense type shit. And that like your whole strategy is defense type shit. It's like not letting other teams score type shit. You see what I'm saying? So you don't really get to nurture and grow your real traits because your whole nature is defense. Like, you know what I'm saying? You think about America and then like most of the money that they get goes into building is like defense and like fucking building big ass bombs and war jets and fucking nuclear fucking bombs and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is where most of the fucking budget goes. So when you think on a total scale as far as you know, America being a totally nice, loving place like that, yes, it does have certain parts about it, but as far as the world on the whole looking at America, their number one priority is blowing shit up and killing people. You know what I'm saying? And nobody really likes that. Especially in America, you don't really think about it like that until you get a outside perspective. You step all the way back and you look at it, you be like, man, like America's a nice place, but like they real priority is like blowing shit up and killing shit. You see what I'm saying? And this is Scorpio energy. Like you know, they can be very nice, charming, warm people, but like ultimately underneath all that shit, they just want to kill somebody and blow. Well, especially like somebody who they used to be cool with. Like you know what I'm saying? This is really, and you can see the deficiency in it. And then like just like you kind of look at America and you can kind of see the deficiency in America on a worldwide basis. This is literally the same deficiency you can see in Scorpio. Um, very emotionally challenged. Um, they have an aspect they approach to like connection or no connection. You see what I'm saying? And then even like in this video, like they can watch this shit and like this is they not feeling it, it's gonna cut it off and not. You see what I'm saying? But like even you in the spot, like if you might approach them and say, "Hi, wow, you're beautiful, you're nice, but I'd love to take you out one day." And it's just like there's no connection there. There's just no. You connect though, it's gonna connect. They're like, wow. But as soon as that connection is lost, I mean, shit's fucking tough. Like, you know what I'm saying? They gonna be like, I can't even believe I even connected with this motherfucker because like, matter of fact, there's a song by Sean Paul, I think with Rihanna. I think it's called Connection. You know what I'm saying? This is a very good song to listen to and play with a Scorpio because it's just literally about two opposite forces not only coming together but like literally trying to go through each other, like like fuck through each other type shit. Like they want to penetrate. You know what I'm saying? Not just connection, but also penetrate. You know what I'm saying? They're a lot of times very attracted to the wrong people. You know what I'm saying? The people that they do deal with are not good for them at all. It's good advice for Scorpio is that you don't win and break. Nobody wins and break up. You see what I'm saying? It's like it's a breakup. You know what I'm saying? The notion of being friends with your spouse after the fact, you know what I'm saying? Be friends, but at the same time, you don't have to get back everybody that you break up with. You see what I'm saying? Or expose them, or you know what I'm saying? Once you learn all the insecurities and trying to use that shit to expose them or get back at them or kill them, you know what I'm saying? If that's more important than learning the love aspect of you, then you got in the whole relationship for the wrong reason from the beginning. If you keeping tabs and keeping fucking mental track and everything the motherfucker did wrong, then you got in the relationship for the wrong reason from the beginning. You need to pick I don't know what the fuck they say. Pick in your, I don't know what the fuck. Can't read my own handwriting happy. I'm fucking joking. Oh yeah, they will go through your phone. But their phone will be locked in a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? There was a picture I just seen on Facebook recently. They had a dude had his phone face down on the table. You know what I'm saying? And they was talking. They girl had fireworks going on something for a birthday cake. And they had like fireworks going. So see, everybody was looking at the fireworks. Little dude, his phone was down on the table, and the meme said only a crazy bitch will know what's wrong with this picture. You see what I'm saying? Mind you, I didn't know what the fuck was. I was like, what the fuck wrong with this? And then I looked in the comments and was like, why is his phone face down? Why is his phone face down? Why is his phone face down? I was like, damn, I ain't even thinking of shit like that. You see what I'm saying? And one couple girls I was saying, yeah, and she got fire on the table. You see what I'm saying? Well, this is like just they had the fireworks going in the cake. You see what I'm saying? So you know, this is a lot of men. You might not even be doing shit. You just might put your phone face down on the table one day. You know what I'm saying? She'll be like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? And she will go through your phone. You know what I'm saying? But if you ever try to go through her phone, nigga, it's fucking execution. That'll be nice. You out of that. Like, don't you ever think about going through my Scorpio phone? They will fucking decapitate your ass. What the fuck? Okay. Yeah. Scorpios, like I said, can't drink too much. They are invaders, which means that like they kind of show up, they will show up at your place unannounced. But if you ever show up unannounced at their place, they will fucking kill you. They will fucking totally destroy you. They will leave you standing outside, but they will show up at your place unannounced. They get too close too quick using laughter, so they will be the guy or girl trying to charm you. You know what I'm saying? But the problem with guys is that they can be over charming with it to the point where they get kind of creepy or just kind of annoying with their little brother vibe. I've seen this a lot with Scorpio. What's so crazy too, my little brother is a Scorpio because I love him to death too. But like, you know, when we were younger, he used to annoy the shit out of me. I used to beat the shit out of him a lot. And then like, you know, we were younger, fucking, I'm an Aquarius, dealing with Scorpio, little brother. You see what I'm saying? And then like, a lot of the times when I would go to do shit, he would come right behind. Look at me, look at me. Like he would constantly do this. You see what I'm saying? Like, look at me, look at me, look at me. And like, mind you, Aquarius child, this is very difficult for me to deal with. And then like, not just how I would get jealous, but it was like, I look at shit from a collective. And then like, I don't mind him having his spotlight, but he just had such an uncontrollable urge just to totally interrupt me every time I tried to display something or show something. Like, he would say something like, oh, look at me too, I can do the same shit. And I was like, yo, like literally everything. And like, I started to, it wasn't just like, you know, it's not a jealousy issue when the shit happens, you know, but it's like literally every fucking move you make, it was like, he had an obsession of like totally one-upping everything I did. And like, me and him, my brother did not get along when we was kids growing up. And then like me as a person, I used to fuck his ass all the time. Like looking back, like we talked about, like I fucking totally, something like totally we were fucking kids, you know what I'm saying? But like, me as a person, I did not know how to deal with that energy at all. Just conscious, like, look at me, totally invading my whole fucking, like, thought process. You see what I'm saying? And then, like, if you're an air sign dealing with, or even an earth sign dealing with, you know what I'm saying, a Scorpio person, it's just at a younger age, you might not know this until you find out later on that, like, you know what I'm saying, the reason they kept invading, you know what I'm saying, your space like that was because that's how they approach life. That's some shit that like a lot of parents won't necessarily correct in a child. You know what I'm saying? That like they constantly jumping over their little brother, their little sister to invade the attention. You know what I'm saying? So like, what parent is really going to correct that? You know what I'm saying? So like, a lot of times they don't see this as a negative trait, but like I see this, like Scorpios grow up, they constantly have this shit still going, and they're like, they don't even look at this as a negative trait. Where it's like you'll tell them something like, hey, I do astrology videos about, you know, why I hate the signs like that. They go, oh, I used to do astrology. I know about astrology, shit like this. So you're like, motherfucker, I did not tell you to tell. This is literally the same shit that you see in all my videos. And then like they'll see, like I see this in my comments all the time. Like, oh, I'm a Scorpio. Like every sentence starts off with, oh, I'm a Scorpio. And you know, it's like, look at me. I'm a Scorpio. And this is what I think about this and that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't fucking... It so amazes me that like Scorpios in person do not want to reveal that they're Scorpios, but then like on YouTube or Facebook or shit like that, when it comes like Scorpio shit, they're like, oh, I'm Scorpio, I'm a Scorpio, I'm a Scorpio, I'm a Scorpio. But like if you ask a Scorpio one-on-one, like what's your sign, they be like, I ain't telling you that shit. Like, you see what I'm saying? This is shit Scorpios fucking do. And that like they will invade a motherfucker in public and then totally be private about the same shit on a one-on-one basis. You know what I'm saying? They have a very morbid, dark humor. Obviously, we talked about this. Talk about the two a little bit more. Think about the praying mantis, which is a very secretive type of quiet, sneak up on you while you ain't looking to eat your ass type of bug. Praying mantis is definitely associated with Scorpio. Very wise in the way that they attack as well. More defensive than offensive. They will use sex to control their spouse. Scorpios are talking about when they know that they've been cheated and the woman trying to get away. They know that they're not gonna leave, whatever. And they know that they got them pussy whipped or big whip, and they can go fuck other people. And the other person trying to get away, they will use the sex as a weapon to keep that person to stay. They either like you or they don't. There's no middle ground with this at all. They love to be the center of attention. Obviously, we talked about that, especially as a child, and they grow up, and a lot of times that doesn't get checked. Matter of fact, in FedEx, we call it the Southern Belle Lit, which is like, it's like a spoiled brat, like a spoiled little girl who grows up with like nobody ever checks. It's like, you ever see like a little princess, and who's gonna check a little princess type shit? Like, you should say, like, a lot of Scorpios have that vibe growing up, and they're like, they're little princes and little princesses, and this, you know, they're so innocently invading on people's face and shit like that, and nobody's checking it. So like, as they grow up, they're thinking this shit is all under the radar and nobody sees this shit. So like, you know, they they secretly love to be the center of attention. You never think this shit on the surface, but it's true. They, like I said before, they respond to raw emotions, like what's called dopamine receptors. And like, I read about this shit too when I was studying marketing. And like, even my face, like, you look at me and I was sitting here literally talking to you like this with no energy whatsoever, and everything was monotone. That's very difficult for a Scorpio to be around. Like, they gonna fucking start cracking it. Like, when they go from dry eyes, chill eyes first, Bueller first. The guy who does the car commercials, the guy like talking total monotone. Scorpios love to crack on people like that. Like, you see what I'm saying? So you have a lot of personality. Hey, what up? Like, even that, like, they'll still crack on that. If you fucking act like cartoons, like, hey, what's up, man? Like, they're like, hey, what's up? Like, they like to imitate and copy and duplicate behavior like that. You know what I'm saying? So like, don't try to, like, literally the best thing to be is yourself. Cause like, that's what they're gonna do. Like, you can't necessarily change certain aspects around yourself on a Scorpio, but like, literally they're gonna make fun of you fucking regardless. They don't fucking give a fuck, because all they looking for is that raw emotion so they can fucking respond to it. Some Scorpios are very, very introverted, while some Scorpios are totally extroverted. And like, a lot of times there's something that happened that got it to lead toward the opposite. Like, if they started out super introverted, they eventually become extroverted, or if they were extroverted, eventually they would become introverted. It's kind of works like that. We think about the scene of the Joker when he was talking to Two-Face in the hospital, and he was like, man, I wouldn't know what a dog to do if I count it. He's like, I just do things. This is literally like Scorpios in it. He said, I'm a dog chasing a car. I wouldn't know what to do if I caught it. You know what I'm saying? They don't have any type of necessarily plan. They just literally go through life and they just do things. You know what I'm saying? No logical basis about it. It's just, hey, I'm me. And I'm perfect. So I just do things. You know what I'm saying? Their best trait is that in a love situation, they know how to chew their spouse up and spit them out. And they pride themselves as that being their best traits. They have a lot of pinned up emotions with a deadbolt, and that, like, you really force a lot of shit to close the door and have to close and put a deadbolt on that motherfucker to keep it closed. Like, this is how they kind of approach situations of being pent up emotions and shit like that. Sometimes on Facebook they will block you and then unblock you type shit, and then some shit like they like to cause harm and then fucking totally fucking disregard you type shit. You know what I'm saying? And then totally come back and try to help you again. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we got one page done. I guess I could take a break here. Let's see how this video is coming out. Hopefully it's coming out good. We'll take a break and start the video and come right back.